Hi Virgo, and welcome to my channel, The Guided Intuitive, and thank you so much for being here. So we're going to do a read, and this is going to be for you plus that other person, okay? Now that other person might be a friend, it might be a significant other, it might be a family member, it might even be a person of interest, anything of the sort, okay? So you just fill in the blank, but this is relating to love, okay? And this will be from mid-June until the end of June, okay? So that being said, all sun, moon, rising, as well as your Venus signs for Virgo, okay? Now this is a general read, so that goes without saying, right? So if you'd like a personal read, then go to theguidedintuitive.com and we can get you all set up over there, okay? Now also please note too is that you might resonate with one side more than the other. I'll be focusing on you for one side and then the other person on the other. But just note that you might resonate with a message or you might resonate with one side more than the other, okay? Very normal, so just note that. And I think that's it. So please continue your likes, your subscribes, your shares. I so appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And let's get going and see what's coming out of the gates for you, Virgo, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at the first card. Okay, so we have grounding, okay? What I'm doing is I'm using my Earth Magic cards because I felt a strong need with these crazy energies as of late to get grounded, okay? And I'll also be using my Earth Magic cards, my Earth cards, as well as my Soul Tree cards, okay? So all about grounding and also relating to the animals as well. But this is actually just really getting grounded. There's no doubt about it. You can't get any, you can't really get any clearer than this because this is really talking about the confidence to ground yourself in the earth and really put, kind of get your feet into the roots of the earth and get grounded. This means spending more time in nature. Perhaps that you've been maybe, kind of going all over the place. What this is saying is that taking the time to get grounded, to get out in Mother Nature so you can actually flourish and get these blessings that you see blossom, within the tree here. It's also about getting you more light as well. So that is actually one of the key things, but it is about grounding. So right now, you're instructed, Virgo, to think about really grounding yourself and doing whatever is grounding to you. Sometimes it can be meditation and getting out in nature. Sometimes it also could be, getting, really involved into your music, getting involved into, whatever hobby of interest that we really just kind of lose your mind on and because you're so passionately into it. So you're going to know what that is. So note your comments below, okay? So the next thing that we get is vulnerability, okay? And so vulnerability is really in the terms of this situation, whether it's a certain person or it's a particular situation at hand, this is saying that you do need to be a little bit more vulnerable in this. So it's about stepping back from the ego and then focusing on your true heart and what your true feelings are and how you're really feeling. And I think a part of it getting grounded is to connect the head with the heart better. And sometimes it's actually to let go of the head and drop into the heart so you can get the true nature of the feeling that really wants to come out for you. And that's what I'm seeing here. In this situation, it's requesting that you be a little bit more vulnerable, maybe as it relates to your communication, your feelings, sharing your feelings. Sometimes that can be one of the most sexiest things that you can ever do, okay? So I'm just saying, okay? So that's what's actually coming into play. So not only, go and touch a tree and go take a look and be in Mother Nature, but step even further into the meadow along with the daisies and really, really, cultivate this spaciousness and the expansion of going into a little bit of vulnerability for yourself as it relates to this situation, okay? So that's what's being called for right now, okay? It's also talking about when you go into some sort of meditation, when you take that pause, whatever it is that you do to ground yourself, is to look back at the wisdom of your ancestors, because the next card that we get is shaman. And this is about going back into, a shaman is one that works with herbs, works with plants, and also creates a vision as to what it is that they would like to bring into reality. And it is a healing process as well as a process of wisdom. It's ancient wisdom that is taught. But it's very, very interesting. But this is saying is that to perhaps look into that. Maybe there's some ancient wisdom that you have done. Maybe it was a particular tradition within your family. Maybe that has been forgotten. This is saying to perhaps look into that now. This could be just going back and finding some of the wisdom of your ancestors, whether it is from your immediate family or outside of the family, looking back on just different cultures as to what they did in terms of healing and where they actually were able to pull in some of the wisdom that they passed on from generations to generations. And that's why I brought up like the animals and the plants and the grounded, because I think it's so important for us right now, especially during this time where energies seem to be escalating in a lot of different directions. Of course, it's based on your birth chart, but I know that I'm feeling it. So in any event, maybe you're feeling it as well. So call upon your healing wisdom on whatever it is that brings healing to you, and maybe create that as being a ritual or some sort of tradition for yourself. So you have a go-to place to where it's quiet, and you can put that pause button on in times of need and call upon that, okay? So that's what's coming into place. And then, of course, what this is saying is the next card that we get is release. So something that needs to be released that perhaps wasn't working in the relationship, in the situation. It could be a way of doing things. It could be a mind thought, a mindset or a thought pattern that is looping around. What this is saying is that it wants you to release that and try something new, okay, to do something different. Now, it could, for some of you, being to release the situation and allow your source to take control and kind of take the steering wheel and step back for a minute as you ground yourself. Sometimes that is also the solution that can really, really help you see things a lot clearer, okay? So for some of you, it will be to release and that would be to perhaps release the toxic energies in your body by grounding, release a current way of doing things in a relationship for some of you, or perhaps, release the situation altogether if it actually is that detrimental to your body, mind, and soul. And only you can know that and answer it in your soul, okay? You know by the way that you feel, for the most part, and where the energy moves in you as to whether this is something you would like to continue or not continue. Okay, so that's what this is saying. So what else wants to come out for you here? A wake up call. How interesting. So a lot of signs. I've got about 2 or 3 signs that actually got that this time around. But this is actually saying that there is some sort of tsunami that hits you, and it's like this amazing wake up call where you can't deny what is actually taking place. You have to confront it. So you can try to bury it under the rug, but it's not going to let you, because this is one of those tsunami events that something that was hidden, you can't actually keep buried under the ocean. You're going to have to let it out. And what happens is that when it comes out, it clears everything, and you start from the ground floor of very beginning, okay? And that's what this is saying. So there's some sort of wake-up call in this situation, and it could be in the realms of emotions on how you're communicating, that this is saying is that it's asking you to wake up. Wake up and see, is this the type of relationship you really want, number one? Is this the type of situation you'd like to continue in your life long term? Perhaps it is this the way I want to handle this situation this time again? Maybe there's a pattern again, like I mentioned, that might need to be broken. But whatever is coming your way, this is basically saying that you can't ignore it anymore. Okay, so in this situation, there is going to be a flow of emotions, and something needs to come out, something needs to be said, and something needs to be done in it in order to make it change for the better, right? Or for the best interests of both parties concerned. Okay, so that's what I see coming out. Now, what about this other person? Let's see what wants to come out for this other person. Okay, let's see here. Iceberg. Okay, so they may see a little cold. Okay, they might be a little cold, a little frigid, a little bit. Maybe as it relates to the relationship. Maybe they're not participating so much on the emotional realm. It could be the case as well. But what this is saying is that you have to really address the situation to get more information, and maybe that means having a conversation. So that very much well could be the case. And this is talking about you've only maybe seen the tip of the iceberg, and what you need to do is go deeper, and hence, maybe kind of being vulnerable and stepping forward and saying, hey, this is what I'm really feeling about the situation. And I feel that you're really kind of submerged and burying things out. I think we need to bring this to light type thing. So that's what I see coming into play here for this other person. Now you might resonate more on this sign, so I'll leave that up to you or the cross watcher here, okay? All right, what else wants to come? Okay, so it's almost like this person opens up and then all of a sudden there's just a flow of emotions and it creates some sort of waterfall, okay? And, love is about sometimes, it is about being vulnerable. Sometimes it is about, instead of submerging your emotions, to let it out and let it flow a little bit better. So there's energy is released back and forth between the both of you, okay? Because energy that is restrained or held back really builds a lot of it comes out physically in your body, number one, but so the more that you are able to let it out, even if it's a baby step, a little bit by little bit, so it doesn't come out to be a waterfall or a tsunami, then it helps. It kind of releases the tension in the body and releases the tension in the energy. Okay, so that's what I see coming into place when they open up. It's like this effortless. It's kind of like you probably could have said something a long time ago or kind of wish you would have, but everything happens at the perfect timing, and really at a great time to which that both parties are willing to listen and express. So I do think that there are now letting things kind of expressing themselves, I think, a little bit. The next card that we get is fire. And of course that can create a lot of passion between both of you. So that can very much well be the case. So do note that. That's what I see too, is that, by doing that, you create a lot of new territory, and that new territory is fresh, it's new, and you both kind of cracked open your heart, and it just brings in some fiery passion into the realm, and that energy is real sweet. Okay, it's exciting, and that's kind of what I see, is that you open the door to that, and then it brings in more passion to the relationship overall. Okay, so what else that's coming from this person that you might be able to get some insight on? Instinct. Okay, well, they happen to get the wolf. Okay, and the wolf the wolf or lone wolf, whatever that is, and whatever you kind of resonate with. What this is saying is that they obviously have this incredible instinct, right? They could either be a loner or they could actually be in a pack, okay? Because there are both, that type of thing. So what's interesting is that this is also saying in this relationship that this person is going to use his or her instincts as they move forward. Because a lot of things, are hidden, or they might feel that way with you in some way, shape, or form. But whatever the case is, they're using their instincts, and they do have some really great instincts, I will let you know, that are coming aboard over here, and they're going to use that as in terms of their intuition, and they're tapping into their intuition so they can move forward a little easier. And it's really takes a little bit of going within. And I think that's what they're doing, okay? But a very passionate person over here, okay? So let's see what let's just go ahead and pull an animal card for you, just to kind of go through the motions. And I've been inclined to go ahead and use these only because I've been working with a little in the community with a feral cat and her family. Let's just say a mama and her 5 babies. She's got 1, 2, 3. I think she's got 5. I took a picture the other day. I'll have to post it. It's adorable. And so I'm trying to get the community to help out with them as well. And I've just been watching them because every day before and after work, I'm able to see them. And when I go out and kind of feed them, and I'm just seeing that, what they're able to endure. I mean, it's been 100 degrees where I'm at. I don't know about you guys, but it's been some really hot record temperatures here. So we're all making sure that they have water and things like that, and trying to get the community to pull together. But I bring that up, and that's kind of the reasons why I'm using my animal cards, because it's just brought to my forefront. It makes me smile every single day to know that you're a part of creating this beauty of these beautiful animals, and being a part of their the beauty of them being able to live. It's just it's amazing. Anyway, all right, so what do we get for you? Sit back, because here it comes. Okay, so we've got Cobra, okay? So this is about standing back, right? To me, it's almost like a kind of standing back and kind of in waiting what is coming up next, being attentive and waiting to see what's coming up next. So this is interesting, and that's pretty much kind of what I'm taking a look at what I'm seeing here. So quite interesting. It's got a lot of red, it's got a lot of passion, right? And it's what's interesting is that this is also this is the alchemical symbol for fire, and of course this other person gets fire, right? Very, very passionate, and you're kind of standing back. Ooh, you got a lot of passion over there. So it's kind of like you're kind of standing back, and so it's a lot of passion that you're bringing on, and so it's you might experience that a little bit differently for yourself, Virgo, and that's kind of what I see. But it's interesting because and the cobras are really interesting animals too. So but I think that you're kind of standing back and you're kind of focusing in on, ooh, what is this? This is they might say something and come through, with, after being submerged for a while, coming forth with their emotions, but you're standing back and saying, whoa, I didn't anticipate this, but, I'm glad that I'm actually seeing this. Because it also helps get me grounded, and that's the red that you see. There's kind of the root chakra, and it's also being passionate, right? Through the process. So that's kind of what I'm getting, with the cobra. It's kind of like you take a stand back, kind of when this person kind of opens up a little bit. It takes you by surprise, or they may come forth with some sort of invitation in some way, shape, or form, and it takes you by surprise, so be ready for a surprise, okay, is all I'm saying, okay, and that's related to this love situation, all right, and what about them? What needs to come out for them? Let's see what that is. Okay, so interesting. So what we get is the otter, okay, this is so cool. This is really, really neat. So, and this is also being attentive and kind of looking around. So that's kind of what I get from this too. It's an earth animal, right? And it's just really, it is, they focus on, they're very aquatic. They're a little bit marine. They are, it's just beautiful. I mean, it's interesting because when I see this, it's almost like I get that, they're kind of standing up and taking notice. And they're being a little bit, they're being a very attentive, and at the same time, I feel that they're also a little bit reactive, okay? So I kind of see that a little bit within it too. So it's quite interesting. It is, I almost feel that they are an animal that, we many times we overlook because they're not kind of something like the king cobra of any sort. But I feel that that sometimes they kind of sneak upon you, and you might not really see them so much, and can be overlooked. And so what I think what they're doing is just really kind of coming forward to you in a very humble way, in some way, shape, or form, and in a very playful way as well. And that's just kind of how I see it. It's kind of like I kind of see them coming forth that way, which is really neat. Interesting. Yeah, and they're very grounded, right? They're very, very grounded. I think that they realize that you see through them in some way, shape, or form, and in some way it kind of kind of makes them set back a little bit, but at the same time, I do think that there's some sort of alertness, and I don't know, that's just something that I'm getting. You've got, it's interesting because you've got both fire and water here. So I don't know in terms of that sign. The water sign would be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or even the Venus is what I see through here. But that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, I just think that they're kind of a little bit, they're playing kind of lying low a little bit is what I'm feeling. And I just feel that they're just following their instincts, and they move rather quickly. And they're part of the water, obviously as well. There's very interesting. So, in all due respect, that's all I'm seeing is that they're coming forth very humble, right? Just very humble in this situation. And they feel and see you almost like as the king, cobra a little bit, or the queen cobra, however you want to take a look at it. So I almost feel as if they're coming in kind of with their tail between their legs a little bit in some way, shape, or form. Forgiveness, something like that, or asking for, just just kind of humbly asking for perhaps a second chance. It could be for some of you out there is what I'm getting. You're going to know how this resonates, but that's kind of how I feel. Not getting a lot from that, but that's really kind of what's coming through for the most part for me. Yeah, it's just like I think that I just really think that they've got a lot of curiosity, and that curiosity has kept them interested in you very much so as well. So let's see what the soul tree cards have to say in terms of bringing this together, and how that's going to kind of work and what can really help. Blessings, you get blessings coming through. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm seeing coming through. Note your comments below, but there is some blessings coming through, and perhaps there's something that you've long awaited for, kind of takes you by surprise, and they come at you like as if it was just normal and it was just everyday thing, but yet you were kind of almost like on a different page in some way. Okay, that's just kind of how I'm feeling. So note your comments below. Okay, all right, what else wants to come through? Grace. All right, so actually acting upon grace in this whole process is going to be very, very key. And this is about communication. All the blue, and then the purple is the crown chakra. So you've got the crown chakra as well as the throat chakra. So your communication, doing that with grace and, being careful in the process, with compassion, will bring a lot of beautiful, colorful blessings, okay, for you both. Let's see what else wants to come through, okay? Let's see here. Reconnect. Yeah, I thought it was someone that you might be reconnecting with, someone with all this passion here too that might be coming into play. So I do see that that's kind of coming into play. Like I said, it's almost as if someone's coming back for forgiveness. Something's coming back with their tail between their legs, or something that in a very humble approach, because you're feeling like this, okay? But you're also it's not that your mouth is wide open and you're hissing at them. You're just like, oh, I am surprised. And he's like, well, wait a minute. I thought this is where we were going all along, even though that I disappeared for a while and wanted to come back. You're like, oh. So I think that it does take a grace to kind of get through and communicate with this situation. And then, of course, blessings do come out from that. And it allows some passionate reconnecting. And that's probably about this, waterfall of emotions that maybe tend to come out, and the passion that comes up. So anyway, Virgo, I hope that this resonated with you in some way, and note your comments below, and then I look forward to seeing you in the month of July. And until then, namaste.